You'd think that buying a blender is easy, and you'd be wrong.
I'm Ellen from Ontario, Canada. Let's talk about that.
Good mythical morning.
This episode is brought to you by Catulas. That is the guys with the goods.
Where else can you get a pair of video sunglasses?
Hey, I like your glasses, but why are you wearing them indoors?
I have very sensitive eyes. I just had my eyes dilated for a treatment of some sort.
Are you sure you're not trying to catch me doing something illegal?
Yes, I'm spying on you at this moment. Can you tell where from?
From your glasses, perhaps?
Yes, from the glasses.
I only knew that because I've seen the glasses at Catulas. Get your own pair if you want to get some. We want to thank Catulas and all of our other sponsors for making Good Mythical Morning a real reality.
A real reality?
It's not just reality, it is realer than real, people.
Yes. Thanks for those of you who have sponsored us so far in these inaugural months of Good Mythical Morning. But you know what? We want to spread the love. We want to open it up. We want to open it up to even a larger family of sponsors. So if you're interested in potentially sponsoring an episode of Good Mythical Morning, or you know somebody who is, maybe you can sponsor multiple episodes. Send us an email at show@rhettandlink.com. We'll get back to you with some information on how that works.
Legitimate inquiries only, please and thank you. Just a word of clarification before we get into the conversation of today's episode. I just wanted to clarify based on yesterday's episode, my wife is not currently pregnant.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 3 kids and we are in a steady holding pattern at 3.
Okay.
The helicopter may have landed.
It's time, probably a good time for me to announce it. My wife is also not pregnant. See what I did there?
You scared me for a second. Or not really. I'd be happy for you.
But speaking of my wife,
I don't know why I would be scared.
Speaking of my wife,
Jessie is her name.
yeah, I wasn't having a difficult time remembering her name. I was just having a difficult time remembering what I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
We went shopping recently. We were given a gift card to the Bed, the Bath, and the Beyond, which is a store that sells beds, baths, and things beyond those things.
Right. They started listing what they were going to provide, and then they started to realize this is going to be too long of a title.
Just throw Beyond in there.
The store is going to have to be really wide if we're going to fit a bigger title.
So we were
company or store name.
So we went there,
which I call a title.
And you know, interestingly enough, we weren't looking for a bed or a bath. We were looking for a blender, which they could have fit that in there. Bed, bath, blender, and beyond.
Right. They could have. But you gotta stop it somewhere. So what you're looking for a blender?
You made a little burping noise in the back a couple of seconds ago.
It was just a throat thing.
It was just like a coffee going down noise. It happens. I mean, there's plumbing in there, you know?
That's my new laugh too, by the way.
She said, my wife Jessie said, we need a blender/food processor because we should be eating more smoothies. Not because we're out here in Los Angeles and we need to be eating more smoothies because of that, but because they're healthy. You know, it's a great way to get your nutrients and to, you know, replace a meal with a smoothie. You get your fruits and your vegetables depending on how you make them. So I'm like, okay, I can get into this. I like smoothies. Let's be smoothie people, at least occasionally.
You're into anything that you're not currently into. So, I mean, any idea she has, and you've got a gift card, you know, the criteria is pretty low for you to, you know, you're easy to get along with when it's about purchasing something or acquiring something.
That's true.
We've established that.
But especially when it is a gift card, because then you don't feel like there's a whole lot of stake in it. You're like, well, if this thing really sucks, it doesn't really matter because it was a gift card. I know that's inappropriate, you know, mentality, but that's how we approach things. So we go there and we're like, yeah, let's just go and pick one out. But then once I got into the blender section and I was overwhelmed with all the beds, the baths, the Beyonds, and the blenders, it struck me, I can't just pick one. I can't just buy one. First of all, my wife says, I want a blender/food processor. And then I'm like, do you even know the difference between a blender and a food processor? And she's like, I don't know.
I don't think there is a difference.
Well, that's what she said.
And that is hilarious.
That was not a joke. That was actually what she said. She said,
I think a blender makes things that you drink, and a food processor makes things that you still eat. That's my theory. That's my guess.
That's not entirely incorrect. But you know how I figured this out? Did I ask an employee at Bed Bath & Beyond? No, because I couldn't find one. I looked onto my phone, which has the interwebs on it.
Right.
But it turns out that the signal's so bad inside the store, I had to go outside to the exterior of the store, be the guy in front of the store, like looking at my phone. And that was where I learned, first of all, the difference between a food processor and a blender is food processor has a sharper blade, it has a wider canister. It's made for chopping foods, whereas a blender, like you said, is more about liquefying things. So it actually is a different blade, but when they do the combo, it's a slightly wider canister, and then the blade is like a dual blade, okay? This may not interest you, but just hang with me for a second, because there's a greater principle in play here.
Okay.
So I go back inside, and I'm like, I'm the resident expert, baby. I know the difference between a food processor and a blender. I probably know more than the people who work here now, because I've been on the internet.
Because I went outside and thought about it. Did you try to take credit for it? I just went outside for a smoke break, even though I don't smoke, and it occurred to me the difference between a food processor and a blender, or did you say... there's no service in here.
She knew that I was on the internet.
Okay.
I come back in and
Missed
I tell her the difference. And then she says, okay, well, we have this one, and this one. Which one should we get? She's like, I like the way this one looks. And this is a good brand. This is a Cuisinart. This is a good brand. So I was like, okay, well, let's...
And it looked cool. It was a retro color, wasn't it?
It looked stout. It had a big metal base.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Nice glass canister. The other one next to it, which was a little bit cheaper, had a plastic base and plastic canisters.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, clearly this one does look better. Let me go figure out what the internet thinks about this one, because there are people on the internet who have experienced this blender.
So you had to walk back outside.
I go back outside. Here I am again. I keep walking by the employees, and they're like, this guy's... They know there's not service in there, though. They work there. They know what I'm doing.
I wonder if they do it on purpose.
Like there's a blocker, like a cell service blocker?
Because the post office has that. I'm convinced that the post office has that. Its service goes, once you go in that front door, it immediately goes to zero. They have this technology at their disposal, the U.S. government.
I think that should be illegal, but the U.S. government, I guess, can get away with anything.
Well, I think they have a scrambler in the Bed Bath & Beyond, too, and I don't know if that's constitutional.
Maybe the Bed Bath & Beyond is a bureau of the government. Bed Bath & Beyond Bureau.
That's what the Beyond part comes into. It includes paranormal activity. That's what...
I have no idea.
It's like Area 51 is in the... It's really any part of Bed Bath & the Beyond section.
But I go outside, and first of all, the 3G signal in Los Angeles is incredibly slow because there are, if you didn't know, a lot of people in Los Angeles, and they're always accessing the internet. So it's like slower than the Edge network was in North Carolina. Sometimes it gets so bogged down. So I have to wait like 7 minutes just for the review to come up. Then the review comes up for this one that Jesse thought looked cool. 2 out of 5 stars on Amazon with like 200 reviews. Okay,
don't buy that one.
Sucks. So I'll go back in there. I'm like, that one sucks. We can't get it. The internet has spoken. And so then I have to look at the next one and I go review it. Great reviews.
You had to walk back outside again?
Got to go back out there. You asked me, why didn't I review multiple ones? Because the signal was so slow. So I had to go back in there and go to the second choice. Great reviews. We buy it. We're happy with it. I've had several smoothies. They've all been great tasting. It hasn't broken yet.
I mean, it's not a sponsor, but it could be. Just go ahead and tell us which one it is.
There's the Ninja. There's a Ninja brand blender / smoothie thing, which I also like the imagery of that.
I would not have bought. It sounds like a kid's toy.
Wait, maybe it is, but it makes great smoothies.
Your kids are going to look at it and they're going to blend their hand or their foot or their face.
We keep them away from it. But the thing that hit me as I was doing
Let me put my hand in there.
I was doing the research is this one that has the 2 stars. No one should buy that because the internet has told them that it's not any good. So anyone who has access to this information should use it. And this blender that sucks should be discontinued. No one should be buying it because they should all have the information, but they don't. People don't do the reviews. They go in there and like, it does look cool. It feels kind of sturdy. I can go get this thing and drink smoothies out of it. And they take it home and it breaks.
Well, the thing with me is I don't do that. I don't just go and get what looks good. But I don't do what you do either. I don't go and show up. I know you had a gift card, so that kind of dictates where you're going to go. But even if I had a gift card for Bed Bath & Beyond, I would do what I always do, and that's get on the internet at home where I'm not using any type of cell signal, and I do research. But here's what always happens with me. I read all the reviews just like you do. Case in point, but this is for everything that I try to purchase. With coffee.
You do research on coffee?
Because, we got that K-Cup thing.
Oh,
the Keurig thing.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive. So I said, I'm going to get the cheapest K-Cups in bulk. So I decided I was going to go buy cartons of it to get a bulk discount. And no exaggeration, researched for 2 hours all of the reviews and doing math on how much does it cost. Okay, 45 cents for this K-Cup, really? 39 cents a K-Cup to get 80 of these. And and then it gets to the end and I'm reading all the reviews and I'm overwhelmed by so much data. I didn't buy anything. That's what normally happens. I'm just like, I get cold feet and I'm like,
well, you locked up.
There's got to be another review out there. There's got to be some missing information. I choke on purchases all the time.
This is sad.
Because the pressure just mounts. There's so many people with so many opinions, so many stars, so many calculations to make. I could probably make a better decision later. I feel like I need to take a nap.
You have to let the information empower you, not paralyze you.
It paralyzes me. And then I finally went back and I said, I got to have my coffee. And I went and I put it in the shopping cart. I entered in all my information, blah, 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 blah. I got to find my credit card, blah, 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 blah. I get to the end and the discount where shipping was free didn't take. And then I emailed the people and said, well, the free shipping that you advertise is not even taking. It's not happening. And then they didn't respond. And again, I still don't have coffee. And last night I was over at your house and I had to borrow some of your K-Cups.
You stole some K-Cups?
Well, no. Jesse said I could have some.
You stole from me without telling me?
So I'm drinking your coffee, which is pretty cheap.
As we spin the wheel
$0.
As we spin the wheel of mythicality, comment below. Tell us, what kind of research have you done for a product? The last product you bought, and did you buy it, or were you paralyzed like Link?
This coffee, worth every penny I didn't pay for it.
Tastes better because it's stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Award show acceptance speech.
Let's pull the mic up closer.
I didn't have anything.
Something awkward.
I didn't have anything prepared because we were totally not expecting this. We were thinking that Adele was going to win this.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the Academy. I would like to thank my mom and God.
This thing's a lot heavier than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
you can actually drink out of it.
Hold on. No, they're already playing the music. No, don't play the. I still gotta.
I want to thank Rick Rubin. He's an amazing producer. We would have never made this if he had not talked us into it. He's a genius. The man is a flipping genius whose intellect and prowess, creative prowess, makes us seem like midgets.
Kids, you can go to bed now. Daddy loves you.
You could drink out of the actual cup that they give you at these awards. What are these called again?
See you tomorrow.